Hello and welcome to a knee-jerk reaction to the Game Week 7, Game Week 8 deadline. It's been some time that I have done this, and also the fact that you have to remember, or I missed something during the week, was to do a Game Week 6 deadline show, and also a Game Week 7 deadline show and a Game Week 6 review. It's just been a crazy week all around, but then I was like, possibly, given the fact that we have an early game week, and also the fact that we have a game week ending quite soon with 2 games still ongoing. I was like, yes, let's why not kind of see how this goes. As you can see, this the idea was basically to do something before and to kind of see how things pan up while the game week is still on, but also the fact, like, how is it going for me. I've been thinking about this. Like, I've been all around Game Week 6, and Game Week 6 was not that great for me. Let's be honest. I'll just jump straight into it. Some early thoughts, possibly, and I've made a move already for the Game Week 8. Like, while the weekend is on, maybe it will be a choice that I have to bite my tongue with. But then I kind of went rogue over this window. So this is how I am doing right now, and I will move straight into points and go over Game Week 6. So Game Week 6 kind of ended with Game Week 6 kind of was not that great for me, to be very honest. This was the team. This was the playing 11. I dropped I think from 176k to 444. Not that great stream, not that great kind of moment for me, to be very honest. This was more like what's going to how will I kind of like feel and go with it. That was kind of my main idea, basically. The one of the main one of the things that I was trying as well was the fact that who should I get in. So basically, this was the playing 11. The sub that I made during this, basically I did not sub anything for Game Week 6. Everybody had double, because if you remember, this is the 8-0. Everybody tried to get in Trippier in. I basically at one point did not. I felt like maybe I should hold and then make 2 transfers, which I did. I was still holding with Sterling, but then he was on my bench after and I think eventually it was a good choice. So thinking was like, I had a pretty good team: Haaland, Alvarez, Bruno, Saka. But then the curse of having the maximum players, right? So the curse of having the most transferred in player was the problem, and that's kind of what got me. Julian Alvarez was the most transferred in player for Game Week 6. He was subbed out in 56th minute, basically. He was subbed out in 56th minute, where he was not able to kind of add to he was subbed out. He was subbed out, basically, and that was kind of very interesting to me, that I had to kind of deal with it in a way of which I had not planned, basically, and that's kind of what struck me as well. Julian Alvarez was subbed out after Rodri got a red card, and that was interesting. That was very interesting for me, because this was a game that I had felt like possibly City will score more after playing against Nottingham Forest, but that's kind of what did not happen. I went into Game Week 7 thinking very late. So I'll be very honest here. I made transfers very, very late, and the 2 transfers that I had made basically was basically Foden in for Diaby and Trippier in for Saliba, because there were injury concerns all around, and I was like, possibly this was my game week 7 team, and okay, this is my game week 7 team which is still kind of playing, and I will still have some points. That's a good thing to know. Game week 7 kind of ended with it's still ongoing. I will get Pedro Porro, but then the sub that I made was Diaby, and Diaby out, and I got in Foden for like the punt, taking a 1 week punt on him to see how they do against Wolves, and it turned out completely opposite. Wolves won against City 2-1. Foden and Alvarez was the only impact player. Alvarez is on a phenomenal winning streak right now, but then Alvarez is now not become he's no longer a differential, with his ownership rising to 32%. So he's no longer a differential, but then he is still a player that people are trying the different stuff with. Of course, the amazing thing has been the fact that the players who got in Oli Watkins, you have to remember Oli Watkins scored a hat-trick against Brighton, but then Joao Pedro scoring 4 points after getting the assist for Ansu Fati's goal, and that was a good moment for me to kind of see how this will go. But then any of you watching this video, do like this video, do share, and do subscribe to the channel. It's one of those moments where I wanted to jump on a stream and see how things are happening. So yep, if you have any more comments, do drop it in the chat window below, and I can answer them to you as well. Yeah. So, but then the idea of basically being the lucky part of game week 7 for me is basically the fact that Estepinian was my third bench option, and it is going to be very lucky when because people might have had him for 1 as the first option or the second option, but for me having him third means I can easily hang on to more points, because Botman didn't play for me. Then Pedro Porro was lucky enough to get the 7 points from his shot inside the box, which sadly Joel Matip pulled it in, and that's kind of the interesting thing here that I feel might be helpful for me. So I possibly am towards a 55 point. It's a red arrow right now. But then I feel that I will kind of at the end of the game week make something better. Of course, people went for Morris as well at the game as a 1 week punt for Joao Pedro, because he has he has a double week, and you could also see him. But you could have seen that he might be the one that people choose. People have gone with him, and that's very interesting to note that Morris was one of those players that from Luton that people went in for. I still had Kabore. He got a yellow, but otherwise in my mind it was 2 points confirmed. He got a 1 for a yellow, but then 90 minutes full, like he played the 90, and that was kind of interesting to me. What is interesting is they play Burnley. So if you have gone for Morris up front, good job. I think you would have made some points, and I think the highest points one did have Morris. Yes, exactly. So Morris did make like 8 points with 77 minutes played, goal scored, and a bonus of 2. So that's a good punt. Of course, everybody's darling of the favorite would have been if somebody had gone for Oli Watkins and captained, and that was a big punt. Oli Watkins has delivered 23 points with 46 for the captain, for anybody who had him. So that was a brilliant. So this itself is like the total, more just about what I would have in my game week right now. But that's kind of the thing that you feel with this game week, like 46 points from Oli Watkins captainship. You would have felt that Aston Villa will always look threatening against Brighton, but then Brighton come up with a surprise every now and then. So it's a very hard punt to keep track of and to know like what's going to basically happen. However, the idea was also the fact that we have so Watkins, and let's just get into the Aston Villa story. Aston Villa scored 6 goals against Brighton. 3 from Watkins, 1 from Douglas Luiz, 1 from Jacob Ramsey, and Ansu Fati the only one. The only good thing here was like Cash has been like on a very phenomenal form altogether. So all these players in my mind are differentials. If I look at the, I look at what basically, what fixtures do they have? Look at this run. Look at this. The Wolves, West Ham, Luton, Nottingham Forest, Fulham, Spurs. This is a beautiful run to be on. This is a very, very good run to be on. And I am thinking and trying to bring in one player. And one player that I have in mind is Douglas Luiz, because if he's on the pitch, he's the one on the penalties. Nobody else was going to take it. And there are two players in this game of the week that I feel that I can kind of go towards, because if I go to my team right now, and this is the punt that I took, I have a lot of space. So Mbeumo in my mind is, I have trusted Mbeumo quite some time, and and Sterling as well. So there are two things that I want to do, but because Mbeumo next plays Manchester United, and then Burnley, Chelsea, West Ham, I think Brentford's run needs, in my mind, has come to an end. I need to think about something else here. So Brentford possibly is out in the picture. And the one thing that I also feel is like Sterling's run is now coming to an end. Look at these fixtures. They play Fulham next, or the tomorrow Fulham, and then they play Burnley next. So I can hold Sterling for one more week. So this is like a problem that I created for myself. But my main idea was to get into, so these are the players that I was looking at. I think I need to get, there's a certain surgery need to be done. I need Heung-min Son, because he was amazing, and that's something that an early punt that I might take, because the idea was Foden in, because Foden and Son are the same price. So for Son in, I keep Saka, Sterling out, and Sterling out with Mbeumo and Joao Pedro out. So three players out, and I get possibly, so and the knee-jerky thing here is like I've already done the move. I've already transferred in Son in for Foden, because the fixtures otherwise look really bad, because Haaland and Alvarez play midweek and also play Arsenal. Joao Pedro plays Liverpool. I don't trust Joao Pedro because they also play in the midweek and against Marseille for the Europa League. Brighton. City play, I think City will play, let me see who City will play. Who does City play? Does anybody know? Who does City play? City, I think, play Leipzig away. So that's an interesting match there itself. Like City play Leipzig away. But I think Rodri will play in the middle there because he's not red carded for that. You have Alvarez and Haaland both started this game. I think unless Grealish starts that game on the right, Doku starts. I think also the fact that possibly, but Alvarez is a must. Alvarez is playing so many games, so I'm kind of concerned if Alvarez will be out or not. But these are the two players that there will be goals, and Haaland and Alvarez is one that I want to keep. The one switch that I made as well is like I got rid of Saliba, but he got 6 points, so that was interesting. Overall, I removed Diaby, who got 9 points, who got 8 points, and I got. It was funny, right? It was really, really funny. I got Foden, who got 2 points for me, so total loss was 6 points, and then Botman didn't. And then I got in Trippier for Saliba. Saliba scored 6, but then Trippier scored 12. So overall, my net of using 2 transfers, I did not gain anything. It was a net 0 of loss. Not ideal for when you want to do 2 transfers. You feel that somebody will kind of bring it, but then I'm good. But I wanted to have this set up for the next game week, so I'm happy that I did get in Trippier in early. So Trippier in was a good thing. And if I look at the transfers that I was just talking about, I would do Mbeumo out. Of course, as I said, I've done my transfer. So Son, Sterling out, and Joao Pedro. So here I might put like now it's like in my mind I definitely would want to get Ollie Watkins, because he is now the hot property, and the run that they have is amazing. But if I hold on, if I don't go crazy, and if I do team selected by, everybody's gone for Saka. My main idea is to get into try to get Salah in, possibly, and I don't know how I will get that make that happen, but I have Son in now. The best transfer in my mind to play with would be possibly to get in somebody that I know is there all the time to kind of score points, and I'm talking Aston Villa here. So I'm not saying. So I'm looking at Douglas Luiz. So if I get Douglas Luiz in here, I have 13.7. I need. This can be my another like clutch player, because I have the three that I need. Bruno is starting all games. Son is starting all games. Saka is almost inevitable to start. So I don't want to touch anything here. But then here, possibly, if I do, and the idea is to get to Salah. But then this idea, the problem to get to Salah is like I can't have, like this is hard to happen. I can't have a player for 1.1. There is no player like this. So there needs to be a further surgery if I need this to happen. But what is happening right now after the two red cards as well, what will happen is Liverpool possibly, they look at this run: Brighton, Everton, Nottingham, Luton, and so these three games is what I'm trying to target. Like try to get one Liverpool player in, but it doesn't have to be Salah. That's the thing. Luis Diaz is a good punt to take. You get Luis Diaz in, and for 6.2. For 6.2, okay, let's do 6.1. You get, of course, you have Wissa and like everybody, but then the player that because you would also want to move away from your Arsenal assets, because Arsenal, like, okay, look at Arsenal. Arsenal has a lot of clutch games here, and and then the international break happens where you might want to play the wild card in game week 9. But you could have Antonio after this Newcastle game. West Ham, they look really good. Of course, the player that you would want to have for West Ham is Gerard Bowen. But then, so the idea is like if I'm able to get in Bowen, which is very hard, or Ward-Prowse, I then need to select a striker who I might not get. So let me say for Aston Villa. So if I have 5.6, let's say, and you have Aston Villa. So who is there for Aston Villa under that? Duran? No, I don't want to have that player. So, but if I do 6.1, my options improve magnificently. So I can still play wings in not starting. So if I have Antonio here, and for my best thought, if I have Douglas Luiz in, this looks so much better, because I am also then covered for all the great fixtures that West Ham will have, and he has been starting all the games basically. So the idea is like the surgery needs to be done. I have already made a transfer. This is what I would possibly do. Not this game week, because so leave Brighton. So the next move possibly for me is to move away from, because Sterling will play. So this is what the idea is: Fulham and Burnley. So game week 8 at the game week 8 deadline, which is in a week. So after game week 7 and 8 and has ended, I would have basically Luis Diaz, who in game week 9 then plays Everton, and that's the one that I want to capture. So I think it's a good differential to have Luis Diaz. Salah is not affordable, but Diaz is like, look at the run. Look at that ball that Salah was putting him, like curving through. It was amazing. I just don't know how he couldn't get to it, but that was amazing. But this is what I feel could be my game, my team in 3 weeks from now. So game week 9, that's what I'm like looking at. So like not a big surgery, but then So I don't want to. So 3 players I don't want to move away from now. That's something I've decided is like Son. Son stays. He is just tremendous. Unless he is injured, he is just amazing. He is starting in the middle, and then Richarlison moves in. So Ange Postecoglou, I think, has made up his mind the fact that it is better to play him inside rather than the other player, rather than Richarlison. So it's pretty clear in my mind that that's what's going to happen. So I think that's what I'm going to stick with. The idea of sticking with Manchester United player, the only reason for doing this is because Bruno Fernandes is the only Manchester United player who is providing and is on penalties. So the points, so the journey to points is much faster, or like he has. But then if I have to sub him out, like look at these games. So I can take the pain from Brentford, Sheffield and Man City. They're also playing midweek in Champions League, but then he is so central for everything that United does. And that's something what I want to understand is like eventually in the international break, what happens and how will this play? Luis Diaz, I've just explained why. Douglas Luiz as well. I can't go to my best idea will be I can't go to and this is what I want to target this run after, like Wolves away. It's fine because they will be high after the win against Man City, but West Ham, Luton, Nottingham Forest, and 2 home games, 1 away. I want to capture this. This is a good run that you would want to kind of bank on. Of course, Watkins will be the best choice, but then Douglas Luiz is the one on penalties. So why not take a punt on him? Antonio, again, the idea is to kind of get in some West Ham players. And these are really good. And I'm moving away from Diaby, of course, but then, the provider is still Douglas Luiz. He might not get you equal points, but then he is one of those players who is kind of on a good rise. You can see his points, right? 8 to 10. So he has been performing, and he has I think that's my idea. But they also the other thing as well is like, because I have Mbeumo here, Mbeumo also plays Man United in game weekend, so, and Burnley, but then I can keep him for Burnley, but then I want to change. Look at this: Chelsea, West Ham, Aston Villa, Liverpool. It's a tougher game. But that's kind of the idea. That's kind of my right now knee-jerky reaction to like what I want to do. This is like currently how my team looks. 48 points. I've dropped the ball a little. I think I will end up eventually with 400, with somewhere around my previous rank, which was 446k. Dropped from 175, so I'm not happy with that. But the season is still long. There's still a lot of swings that can happen. Now I have the double Newcastle defense. Joao Pedro is a very big conundrum to me. And Sterling needs to perform for me tomorrow to kind of give me that points back that I lost from possibly Diaby and from Watkins. So that'll be my idea to kind of see how this goes. But yeah, let me know in the comment section below, what do you think? How's your game week going on? Just for you guys, do join the game week my league. The code is in the description of the video and also in the thumbnail, which I will put on. But thanks for watching, and I will catch you on the preview for the next game week. When this game week has ended, I will do another video for Manchester United losing to Crystal Palace. That was shambles. I can do a rant on that. Look forward to that, and do like this video and do share and subscribe to the channel, guys. I've realized that almost 100% of you like watching me, but then you don't subscribe. Like, come on. Like, I've had 200, 300 views on different videos, but then none of you have hit the subscribe button. So I will encourage you to do it. Hope you had a nice one. Hope you had a good weekend. Still the game is on. Currently it's a Nottingham Forest 1-1. Yep, that's what I had expected. Turner save. Interesting to see if anything is given to Mbeumo. Still 2 points. 2 games to go. Fulham, Chelsea, and Luton, Burnley. Hope you had a nice time, and I'll catch you in the next one.